Hello, beautiful people of the internet. What's up? It's your girl, Akeisha. A really neat way to take care of your skin is to really think about the use of temperature. I personally get a lot of use out of using steam on my skin, but I wanted to really think about what ice could do. I came across this video on YouTube of another YouTuber, I'll link it down below, using ice on her skin to improve the texture, and I really wanted to try it as well. So when I found a comment under one of my videos of someone suggesting that I should use ice on my skin, I was more than happy to do so. For the past 5 days, I've been using ice on my face to see what it would do for my skin. And the results are in. Make sure you guys subscribe for more videos like this, and let's get on with the video. I wanted to start off by giving you guys a little update on my skin, and if I'm looking down, it's because I have my notes on my phone, so don't mind that. My acne is pretty much under control for the most part, as you can see. I do have 1 or 2 breakouts now and then, but it's not as bad as it used to be, for sure. I'm more focused now on healing the skin in terms of texture, in terms of oil production, and of course post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. As we're going into the summer, this is when I typically start to break out. My skin doesn't react very well to heat, to warm temperatures, so we're crossing our fingers for the summer. As far as post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation goes, which for most women of color, we really have a hard time getting rid of that, simply because our skin is prone to overproducing melanin once we have inflammatory things that happen on our skin, sure. So that's kind of my focus right now, but let's get started with day number 1. So rather than just using ice by itself, I've had a lot of great experience using honey. And so I went ahead and used my forest honey, melted it down with some warm water. I let that cool and pour it out into my ice tray, and that's what I use for the rest of the week. If you're gonna do this, make sure that you're doing it over a sink, because my face is dripping like crazy. Ooh, it feels so cold. I have to like work in increments. So I just washed off the honey with some cool water to match the coldness of the ice. And so far, my skin is like, my pores look really, really tight. Like barely even visible. But so far, so good. It's just incredibly red because it's cold. But let's go ahead and moisturize. On day 2, the morning after, my skin looked really fresh. I just put on a little bit of powder on my skin. I was ready to go to work, and I do want to show you guys what my skin looks like with powder on or with makeup on, only because you can see the texture of the skin better. That night, I went in again with the ice, and I'm not over exaggerating, it was super cold. Ooh, oh my gosh. The first thing I can say is using the ice really makes your routine a little bit longer, which pretty much anything that you're doing extra will make your routine longer, but it takes about 6 minutes and 30 seconds to be exact for the ice to melt completely on your face. But I do feel like taking the time to do these cleansing rituals does make you a little bit more intentional with your cleansing. So I don't mind. On day number 3, I decided to experiment a little bit with hot and cold temperatures. I steamed my skin with my Nano Iconic Facial Steamer and put on Aztec Secrets Bentonite Healing Clay to flush out the skin. Now, I do look a little bit crazy because I also had the Laneige lip mask on and it turned white because of the temperature, but I let that sit for 20 minutes and washed off with cool water. So here's what we got after a good steam and some Aztec clay. Pretty good still. And this one is just really angry. I was hoping that the Aztec clay would just go ahead and soak it out, but now my pores are open. We're gonna go ahead and close them with this ice. Then I moved on to my ice cleansing ritual to tighten up the skin. You really want to make sure that you keep moving the icicle. Don't leave it in one place because you don't want to burn your skin. You can really get like freezer burn or ice burn, I guess you would call it. So just kind of move it in circular motions. Never rest it in one place for too long. And by all means, take a break. I do it all the time because it's really cold. They should really call this like the Canadian facial or
You know, in the winter when it gets so cold outside and the wind is blowing and there's just snow blowing on your face, this is exactly what it feels like. So if you guys want to come to Canada, this is what you're gonna feel. As of November until at least March. Nowadays, kind of until April, but you know, that's okay. Oh, it'll all be worth it in the end. When you go over your brows, just make sure to stop a little bit once the water gets a little too saturated, I guess you would call it, just because you don't want the water to drop in your eyes. If it's just regular ice that you're using, I suppose that's fine, but if you're putting something in your icicle, you definitely want to make sure that it's not getting in your eyes because it will sting.
When the ice was nearly melted, I decided to use it as a massage stone. So my routine became more of a facial and massage in one.
You can massage your skin in upward motions and you basically get the same results as using some type of massage roller, but you're doing it with ice.
Recently, I've kind of gotten into the habit of not really washing my face with soap in the morning, or just simply light cleansing my skin with micellar water or rag or so on and so forth. So I decided to cleanse my skin in the morning with ice rather than doing it at night.
I always start from the bottom because that's where the majority of the honey has settled, rather than from the top.
By day number 5, I was super excited to be done with this experiment, to be honest, because I'm not the biggest fan of the cold. I know, I live in Toronto, but I don't like the cold. But I stuck through it and I finished. Something I did notice was that the ice really didn't help me with the pimples themselves. You can see that little angry red spot was still on my face. It's gone now, but I don't think that really had something to do with the ice. I think that was because I was doing other things as well. So I just ended up applying a glob of Polysporin. I put a band-aid over it and that did the trick for me. Overall, I don't really feel like the ice did very much in terms of improving the look of my skin. I think it constricted my pores very nicely, so I didn't get a lot of bacteria in the skin, but of course those effects were not lasting. It was just kind of an immediate shrinkage. I really did enjoy the facial massage with the ice stone because I felt like it really helped to get that circulation to the surface of the skin and help jumpstart or speed up that healing process naturally. I did feel as though my skin was not as oily, which is of course a plus. Also, using it as a facial wash in the morning was really cool because it woke me up. And of course you get that instant lifting effect. So if you have like puffy eyes or a puffy face, like it will go ahead and take care of that immediately. So I think you get the most out of it if you use it in the morning. But what I loved most about the ice was using it after the facial steam. I feel like mixing the two temperatures between hot and cold really does wonders for the skin. I mean, logically, think about it. In medicine, you use both a hot and a cold compress if you injure yourself or have a wound, and the skin or acne itself is basically like an open wound. So it makes sense to treat it the same way. Personally, I don't really feel like you need to do this every single day. I don't think the benefits are that astounding that you'd need to do this for longer than just a day or two at a time. But once in a while, if you have an event to go to, or you wake up with really puffy skin, or if you do a facial steam and you want to cool it down, I would suggest doing this mask. Every day, not so much. That brings us to the end of the video. I hope you guys really did enjoy it. Comment down below and tell me if you've ever tried ice on your skin. I would love to know how that worked for you. And girl, what you staring at? Go ahead and click over here to see some of my previous videos. Stay gorgeous, stay fabulous, and I'll see you lovely ladies and gents in my next video. Bye.